everyone, Comic Reviewer here, and this time reviewing On Holes, 2003 film review. Now, as you know, Holes is a comedy drama film that was originally a novel in 1998 by Louis Shia. Now, I know another YouTuber, 24 Frames of Frank, actually reviewed this, so I personally wanted to review it myself as I've watched this film so many times. Now, the premise of the movie is mostly about Stanley, who is played by Shia LaBeouf, who kind of ends up getting accused for a crime that he didn't commit, and pretty much this was there at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I think we've all been out at somewhere at the wrong time where we've either got mugged, kidnapped, or either got our stuff stolen. And what's interesting is that when Stanley goes to the camp, it's kind of like meant to be kind of like a kind of reform school sort of area, which originally used to be a town, but due to an incident had never rained. So pretty much the camp is run by the warden, who is played by Sigourney Weaver. And I have to admit, Sigourney Weaver does a fantastic job. She kind of gives this Donna Matrix feel. She pretty much treats her lackeys with contempt and quickly gets annoyed by them. What's actually interesting is Sigourney Weaver's daughter was actually into the book, so she wanted to do the film for her. What's interesting is that you've even got two of her goons, which is Mr. Sir, who is played by John Violet, and also Dr. Pandasky, played by Tim Blake Nelson. And I think with Dr. Pankowski is that you do kind of feel bad for him, as he's kind of the punching bag and kind of made fun of. And I have to admit, what makes the film interesting is that the story comes together from one story to another, and that story to another. Like, explaining how the person who robbed Stanley's ancestor had a past, and also how Stanley's family were cursed due to an incident that happened. And what's interesting is that with some of the other, say, people at the kind of like camp area, you pretty much can tell they quickly treat Stanley at bad and kind of like push him around. And you can actually also tell that Hector does kind of offer to help him out, and you can actually tell they do form a brotherly like relationship. And I think what makes the story interesting is that it feels like a Australian tale, or kind of like something I think people in Australia would have told their grandkids. And I think it works slightly, because you've got a town that never rains, you basically got a character who fulfills a prophecy, and it actually works. Now, I also know as well that the book Holes actually got a sequel in 2006 called Small Steps, which Disney never really adapted, which I think is kind of a shame. And I think, given the fact it's 2020, we most likely will never get that sequel. And I think Shia LaBeouf actually does a decent job for the main character, and it's kind of a shame that he's never really done much acting and kind of lost control of his life by getting evens with Stevens. And what's actually also interesting is pretty much some of the cast members I can recognize. For example, the actor who plays Stanley's dad is the same actor known for playing Fonzie in Happy Days. And what's interesting is that Effa Kitt, also known for playing Yzma in Emperor's New Groove, actually plays Madame Cerrone. And I like how, these were actors at the time who were doing other roles. Now, to me, I think Holes definitely dig deep and definitely had a story it wanted to tell. And yeah, there are a few alterations from the film that differ from the book, so I think it deserves a thumbs up. Still good and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.